Thank you, Sharon, and thank you for your informative speech here today. I think, as the evaluator mentioned, or the Toastmaster mentioned, we learned a lot about a problem that we probably didn't know very much about. You came off as really informed about the subject and really an expert on these methods that you were proposing, and I think that was an important part of this project because it is the technical presentations manual. You made sure to point out the technical detail. Another part of this manual talks about focusing on the audience benefits and what we're going to get out of it. I think that that was a little bit unclear for a while, and I could tell based on the questions that I wasn't the only one who felt that way. I think maybe if you had started off with more of a description of the problem. Now, granted, your audience of NGOs would probably have known more than we do, so I understand that we were play acting, but I think especially for us, and maybe even for your NGOs, some quick description of how many people in Africa have this problem of no clean drinking water and how much water gets wasted when it rains, something like that. And that would have led into your arguments about why the water collection is important. The other part of this manual that I think you didn't fully focus us on was urging the audience to take action. And in fact, somebody asked the question, what do you want us to do? And I had actually written down that exact. It wasn't clear whether we were investing in your business or we were buying your services. I know at the beginning you said, I can help you and provide these services, but I think it wasn't clear to the audience what you wanted us to do. So I think adding some of that into the speech would have helped to make sure that we got the message. The technical presentation doesn't have to be a sales pitch. I heard someone say, where's the sales pitch? So it was a proposal on how we can do something. So just make that clear that you're proposing that we take this action because we all care about these people that don't have enough water. Because we had a presentation on gestures, I'll have to point out that your default position is the elbows at the side, and you did make a lot of gestures with the elbows locked and your hands up here. So if you can free them, it might make you look more relaxed up here, and then we're more likely to believe what you say. You did have a few gestures like you're describing a big river bed, and that was able to free your arms and kind of make you relax. But you kind of did the hand washing thing a few times as well. So especially when you're trying to make a proposal, I would suggest try to avoid the nervous mannerisms and just relax and maybe do some more gestures that would add impact to your speech, and that might help. You also did the smell the fresh dirt. I don't know if that was always part of your speech or that was today based on the discussion of how your brain remembers smell. So that's work that into your speech so that we focused on this fresh rainwater. And I think that would help more of that actually when you're describing the problem and describing how people suffer without having the water and so on. There are also just a couple of the technical things. You described the jar and the well really well, but I didn't quite get what they did. And in fact, that came out in the questions as well. What does the jar do? You know, how does the water get into the jar? And then you explain the gutters and so on. So I think that part, the gutters and the collecting water diversion, was an important part that we kind of missed. And then for me, the other thing I was asking, you showed the beautiful wall and the well when you just put a bucket down there, but I didn't get how the water got into the well. And probably because it goes through the sand, through some opening or something, but that bit of the connection was missed. So if you're going to go into the details of how it's structured, I would also cover a little bit about how it works. The Q&A portion, you handled really well, you were confident, you were knowledgeable, you answered all our questions. So I'm curious to know whether this really is your business or not, so you can tell us that later. The only thing I'd suggest about the questions, the manual suggests that watch the time. I know I have that problem too, so I have a lot of time, yeah. But watch the time and allow time to conclude at the end. So at the end, when you've run out of time, just remind us, what do you want us to do, why does it matter, and how we can help. And then you'll finish off with a really big, powerful conclusion. All that knowledge that you would have had would be shared with us, and we'd be ready to run out there and help and buy your services. So thank you. Thank you.